Hello, PHS students. I hope you're having a great day or evening. My name is William Eaton. I am here to talk to you about my career and some experiences that I have had over the course of my career in hopes of enlightening you on some key choices and decisions that you might want to consider along your way towards becoming a professional. So the first question I wanted to answer was how and why did you choose this career? And interestingly, my career wasn't by design. So I'm currently Senior Director of Packaging R&D at Pepsico. And I lead an awesome team of individuals doing packaging, engineering, technology research, and innovation. So I was born, I'll leave the year out, not important, but as a young person growing up, I loved nature and science. However, I was not great at math growing up. So if you are challenged with math, know that if you persevere, you will be able to be successful. I started working. I've always been somebody that has a mindset of work hard and you shall be rewarded. So I started working at small jobs from auto body shops to boat yards and a number of things as a young person. After finishing high school, I went to Norwalk Community College, Norwalk State Community College in Connecticut, studying architecture. I always wanted to be an architect growing up. However, after going to Norwalk for about a year, I really hated that going to, not the school per se, but I was not really happy with just driving to school. It was a very long commute. And I just, there was something that didn't drive me to continue at Norwalk Community College. So I did have a job that I was doing pretty well with. It was working in a furniture store called Brian Alden, and I helped him, the owner, set up stores and did a lot of different things. I helped build his home. I used to be in construction. I worked in that a lot as a teenager and through my early 20s. And then I reached a point where I had an epiphany and said, I need to go back to college. I had the opportunity to go back, and I went to Wentworth Institute of Technology. I studied initially architectural engineering, which is a 5-year engineering program. And I quickly discovered that I really was not a classroom type of person. So I wanted to finish school as fast as possible and get out and work and learn by doing, which is kind of just in my DNA. So I finished school. I changed my major after 2 years of engineering to construction project management. At the time I graduated, I had bad luck. Fortunes come and go. And just at the time that I graduated, the construction industry and that engineering industry was pretty poor in terms of job availability. I had one job offer out of probably 100 resumes sent out. And that was to work for a company in Kuwait, believe it or not, after the war there, to rebuild as a construction project manager, to rebuild some of Kuwait. I chose not to go there for a number of different reasons, and started working for myself in construction, doing residential home remodeling, kitchens, and various jobs. And in 1991-ish, I had an opportunity presented to me when I was working for an individual. His fiance was the HR director at Cadbury Schweppes. They knew I was looking for something more permanent. And she mentioned there was a packaging technician role, which was working in a packaging lab. And I went and interviewed wasn't terribly excited about the job, but I needed insurance and I needed to get a real job in a real company. So I took the job. 15 years later, after going through multiple promotions, running the packaging lab, becoming a packaging engineer, doing all kinds of technology development on materials and packaging machine technologies, I left Cadbury Schweppes and joined PepsiCo. And I've been there for just a little over 14 years in various roles. So that is my sort of career roadmap very quickly. And, you know, if you want to take a look at my LinkedIn profile, you'll find some details. If you don't use LinkedIn, I suggest you do. It's good for networking. I've retained a lot of relationships and gained a number along the way. So here we are in 2021. 2020 certainly presented everybody with a very different year with COVID. I hope everybody's safe, and I hope everybody continues to persevere and don't let the pandemic sort of dissuade your thoughts on making the right choices for college or whichever direction you go. So one of the questions posed to me was, what is the most and least rewarding about my job? And really, there's a number of things. So I'll answer this in two different ways. The first one is over my career from Cadbury Schweppes and now PepsiCo, I've worked on a lot of really great brands and really cool technology. I have a number of design patents for, you can see here, this on the left, this is Pepsi's, one of our newest bottle designs. There's actually a lineup you can see over on the right. There's a nice picture. These were all designed to run seamlessly together with limited changeovers. And these are for carbonated soft drinks and non-carb pressurized. So there's a lot of physics and design structural stuff, which I really enjoy. I was featured in my university's alumni newsletter, or actually it's a magazine. They asked if I would be interested in doing a story, and it was great. I've been in a number of publications, had the opportunity to, speak on behalf of the great companies that I've worked for. And I've worked for some really awesome brands. I developed this gallon package for Lipton, you see on the right, and the handle, and applied a lot of the learnings that I got and some of the sort of process in terms of critical thinking in college around structural design and engineering. So it applied. I have a team that does an awesome job at developing this life water package with these really cool tactile ink graphical labels that required a lot of technology development with printing process. And then one program I'm involved in, you can read in the public domain. It's a joint venture between PepsiCo and a company called Pulpex, developing a bottle that is made out of paper with the idea of sustainability in mind. And I'll speak more about that in a little bit. So really cool technologies. I like tinkering. I've always loved being around machines and different things. And over the years, I've spent numerous hours in manufacturing plants, having the opportunity to play with some really cool technologies and big pieces of very expensive equipment. And it's just cool. The next thing that I want to share with you is the rewarding part of my job, more so now than perhaps in the past when I was more a project engineer leading projects. Now I lead teams, and I I feel rewarded through people. So recognizing my team as shown on the left-hand side of the screen here. This is the 2-liter bottles that we're actually just launching for PepsiCo. Their new design, unique design, consumer ergonomic, and really just kind of refresh the brands. So that's, the team did an awesome job. And this was just one screenshot. You can kind of see my arm in there, but I was recognizing them in a video sort of montage. So I have a team of about 36 engineers that are awesome, really smart people. ranging from packaging science degrees to mechanical engineering, chemical engineering. Many have PhDs in material science and material engineering, plastics, modeling and simulation. I have a small team right now that we're building capability in modeling and simulation, which, technology has advanced tremendously, and now we can do things in a virtual way to test and validate that we previously used to do in a physical way by having to go into our manufacturing facilities. So those are two things that I really enjoy and have enjoyed about my career and role. As far as things that I don't like, like any company, I work for a large consumer products company. Sometimes the politics and things that are involved in working for large companies can be frustrating, but I will say it's a necessary component of how companies operate, and so you have to learn to work with the system and the tools that are provided. And then the other thing, although as of late not so much, was my commute. I had a 60-mile each way commute, averaging an hour and a half each way, and up until 2020, before COVID, I did that every day, driving to Purchase, to Valhalla, Westchester, for almost 15 years. And you tend to get numb to that commute. So that was probably one of the things that I can't really think of a lot of stuff that I don't like about my job. It's really engaging and fun. So the conditions at work, pace, physical comfort, etc., travel. Let's talk a little bit about that. So times are obviously a little bit different today than they were pre-2020. In fact, the last time that I traveled for work was March 3rd of 2020. I traveled to New York City, and since then I was, we have a design center in the city, and since then I was, like many, sort of sequestered to our homes because of the pandemic. Prior to that, I traveled all over the country, and in many other countries around the world, including, many countries in Europe, Germany, UK, etc., and then in Thailand and Japan, Asia, and in a couple of countries in Latin America. I spent a good bit of time in Mexico in my previous role at Cadbury Schweppes, doing a lot of glass technology development, glass packaging technology development. So things are different. As you can see here from some of these fun pictures, this is my cat, Michael. He spends a good bit of time with me when I'm working at home. This is my desk. The picture up on the right is my desk at home in my basement. I do a lot of Zoom calls. I'm sure everybody's heard about that. So I manage the day through virtual meetings and conversations with folks. However, our R&D facility technically never closed because it was deemed critical for business operations. Early in the pandemic, we had probably a handful of folks, maybe in the first 3-4 weeks, that still had to go in for business critical reasons. And then the companies put very good safety protocols in place. And the folks that work in the laboratories, whether it's product development, analytical science, the pilot plant, packaging, you name it. We have people that have been going in and working in the labs under very controlled conditions and social distancing, masking, etc., basically since the beginning of the pandemic. So as far as stress, my role over the years when I was an engineer doing project management, a lot of heavy project management work, I did lots of travel, managed, projects, multiple projects, between 5 and 10 significant projects that could be, ranging from, $100,000 budget to $2 million. And now, my team does a lot of the project work. I'm still engaged in a lot of strategic planning and budgetary stuff. So I'm more on the business side now is how I would describe it, and leadership side than in my early days of career. I have young folks that we've hired just out of college from packaging science and mechanical engineering schools. They've really hit the ground running and have done an awesome job. learning packaging technology, the science, the material, the physics, and all the testing protocols and project management. So very engaging type role. I would say, I have a high bar in terms of the quality of work that I look for my product, my packaging team to deliver. And one thing I will emphasize is critical thinking. And if you haven't heard that term, I would highly suggest you go and do a little bit of investigation about critical thinking and how that can enable you to be a super successful person. So education requirements, licenses, etc. So I mentioned previously, we have a slurry of different, I just grabbed a number of universities off the web that I know. I have people on my team that have been to a number that have been to these schools, and I proudly went to Wentworth Institute of Technology. But we have a range of engineering disciplines on our team, and most recently, we have folks that specialize in artificial intelligence and machine learning and modeling and simulation, and the software and tools associated with doing that, because we're really stepping into the next sort of critical phase of that technology to apply it to really improve how we do our work, make us more efficient and faster along the way. So honestly, whichever school you choose to go to, as long as you work hard and do well and learn how to learn, the school to me really doesn't matter. Would I choose this career? And if I could make that decision again, it's, I would say, I never intended to work in this industry, right? So I love building things. I build furniture and started fine woodworking about 7-8 years ago. Prior to that, I was building things in construction. I love to tinker. I try to fix anything I can fix myself. And if I can't, or it's not safe, then I will call somebody to help that I might have to pay for to do that. But would I choose my career? I don't think there's any right or wrong answer to this question. You can't change the past, in my opinion. So you should always look towards influencing the future. And so, I don't know what my career would have been or how it would have been if I made a different decision. And maybe if I took that role in Kuwait, I might have gone down a completely different track, but I'm sure it would have been fine. So I don't think I would have made a difference. One thing I would say, though, is as you're considering, where to go and what to do, first of all, don't worry if you don't know. Honestly, I'm pretty late in my career, and I'm still thinking about different things that I might want to do, and that's okay. But I would, I'm not going to read these quotes that I grabbed, but these are just some what I call inspirational quotes that will help maybe you feel a little bit better about either indecisiveness or what you want to do. But one thing, the bottom quote, I really can appreciate. It's not so much about doing what you love. Previously, I might have answered, and I think I probably have in Career Day sessions, that folks should try to find a career in work on something that they love to do. Well, I love doing woodworking, but honestly, I don't think I could make a living. Maybe had I had started it when I was 15 years old, I don't know that I could make a living doing that as a income to provide for myself and my family, etc. Now, that doesn't mean I need to give that up. What I found was by happenstance, as I told you earlier in this discussion, stumbled upon a career opportunity. And I would say you need to make opportunities through building relationships, networking, asking questions. There is no wrong question to ask, and show interest in areas because you might stumble upon something that you never knew about. Like me, when I first looked at packaging, when they told me it's a packaging lab, I thought it was like taping boxes. And I was, not really interested in doing that, obviously. And there's nothing wrong with taping boxes, by the way, but that was not for me. And it turned out to be a lot, more sort of motivating and interesting for me. But I would say, find something that you're good at. And you likely will find that if you're good at it and people recognize that you're good at it, and you can get paid for doing that, you hopefully will achieve like I have, and I love what I do. But I've come to love what I do on a daily basis. Now, don't let me lead you astray that, some days are frustrating and I get angry or upset or whatever. But that comes in any job that you may choose or career path that you might choose. So find something you're good at, continue to get good at it or better at it, and others will recognize that and reward you for it. Are there any trends or different types of things that more or less are attractive in the future? I would say for career choice, there's certainly trends. I'm going to just share one, but there's a number of trends that that you may want to choose. Because I'm speaking on behalf of engineering, I'll kind of stay in that suite of thoughts. So one area is sustainability. Most large and even small companies, this word previously used to mean like cost savings. So sustainability was, oh, let's take some material out or reduce costs or whatever. That's 10 years ago, that's what sustainability kind of was. Now it is not that. If you don't have a sustainability mindset, then you will be, as an organization and an individual, be looked at differently from consumers and what we call customers, in the case of PepsiCo, which is retailers. So this is not only a trend, but it's a necessary part of every company's strategy in order to be successful in the future. You have to address this. And so what I would say is, consumers aren't the same consumers they used to be. They're not accepting the status quo, whether that's human sustainability, environmental sustainability. And so I would suggest, looking into this. This is a whole career opportunity. There are roles that have been developed and jobs developed specifically around this term, sustainability. We have an entire department in corporate sustainability for PepsiCo. We have a group of individuals on the Packaging R&D team that focus on working on sustainability technologies, including the one I mentioned in the beginning, the paper bottle, and others that help move the needle towards leaving the environment better than it was prior. And so this is an area where I would suggest you might want to take a look and see if there's some interesting career opportunities for you. I call it a trend, but it's not really a trend. This is a permanent trend. It was a trend previously. This sustainability now is going to be part of the future, whether organizations and individuals like it or think so or not. So I would say, continue to critically think about how you do your work, whether it's your schoolwork, whether it's work outside of school, if you have a job, part-time job. Always strive to do more and better than average. And so I hope that this was a useful conversation, even though it's one way coming from me. And I hope that your decisions you're happy with coming out of when you decide to, whichever direction you decide to go coming out of high school. And, work hard and you'll be rewarded. So thank you and have a great day.